children, continuing with chapter 15, we were at we have to start today crop protection management. Now, crop protection management basically involves once the crop is planted, now the crop is in the field, how you protect it. Protect it from various things which are there apart from the weather which damage the crop. One is of course weeds. Weeds are basically unwanted plants. They grow alongside your crop and they compete for sunlight, for the nutrients. Whatever manure you put, they use it, then your crops don't get those nutrients. In fact, there are various names of weeds in your textbook: xanthium, paranthenium, and these names are sometimes they are given in the question, and they ask you to identify what are these. So you have to write there are types of weeds. Apart from weeds, of course, in fact, sometimes when you were say traveling on a train or if you are going on a highway, in the fields you must have seen scarecrows. Okay, scarecrows are basically there to scare away the birds. Okay, and apart from that, of course, there are insects also which damage the crop. The insects they can damage the crop in three ways. It is very clearly written over here. They cut the root, stem, and leaf. They suck the cell sap from various parts of the plant, and they bore into the stem and roots also. So these three ways are very specific ways by which they attack the plant. This question is generally asked for 2 to 3 marks. Disease in plants are caused by pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses. These pathogens can be present in and transmitted through soil, water, and air. Of course, various weeds control methods are also there. Weed control methods include mechanical removal. In fact, you must have seen if you are a gardener, if you have a lawn in your house and the gardener comes, he uses a mechanical tool called khurpi. Okay, due to where he digs and whatever the weeds are there next to the main plant, he removes them. Preventive methods such as seed bed preparation, timely sowing of crop, intercropping, crop rotation also help in weed control. Some other preventive measures against pests are use of resistant varieties and summer plowing, in which fields are plowed deep in summers to destroy weeds and pests. Once you have followed all the methods of planting the crop, and then now your crop is standing, and now after the crop is standing, it has matured, you have harvested it also. The next step is of course transporting or taking out after taking out the crop, you have to store it somewhere. In India, in fact, maximum losses occur during storage of grains. Of course, first, if suppose rain is there, so it is desirable that you have an enclosed space for storing your grains, because if water seeps in, then moisture destroys everything. Second is of course various you have rats, other insects also, they may also damage your crops. So storage of grains is very important. Storage losses in agriculture produce can be very high. Factors responsible for such losses are biotic. Biotic means insects, rodents, fungi, mites, various basically insects in a way. And then there are abiotic factors also. Abiotic factors means which are not, for example, weather is there and various different other things. These factors cause degradation in quality, loss in weight, poor germinability, discoloration of produce, all leading to poor marketability. Preventive and control measures are used before grains are stored for future use. They include strict cleaning of the produce before storage, proper drying. In fact, grains are in fields, they are kept in the sunlight and they are dried properly so that no moisture is there before they are put into sacks, because if moisture comes in, then it destroys everything. Okay. Now, for many farmers, apart from doing your normal crops, they also do a secondary activity which is basically known as animal husbandry. In animal husbandry, there are two kinds of things. One is that says they may be raising cows or buffaloes for either milk, or they may be raising them for various types of work, for example, tilling, plowing, or carting. Similarly, if you have any friends in your villages and if you visit their farms, apart from their growing crops, they may have a small poultry farm also for hens. So there are various ancillary agencies which can be connected to a main farm also. And the rearing of livestock, the rearing of animals, it all comes under the topic of animal husbandry. In animal husbandry, we do or we rear animals or we keep animals for two reasons. One, either for getting provisions for them like milk, eggs, etc., or for their labor. Cattle farming, if we see first, cattle husbandry is done for two purposes: milk and draught labor for agricultural work such as tilling, irrigation, and carting. Indian cattle belong to two different species, cows and buffaloes. Milk producing females are called milch animals, while the ones used for farm labor are called draught animals. Now, milk production is very important, of course, and suppose an Indian cow gives 10 kgs, and suppose a Swiss cow, say, gives 15 kgs. So, in this also we have a technique by which crossbreeding is done, so that we can produce a breed which is resistant to Indian local diseases but gives us more milk. So, this practice is followed in this also. Exotic or foreign breeds, for example, Jersey brown Swiss, are selected for long lactation periods, while local breeds, for example, like Red Sindhi Sahiwal, show excellent resistance to diseases. The two can be crossbred to get animals with both the desired quality. This is a very common question, okay? And this how can we increase the yield? So that this is one way of crossbreeding. Of course, now wherever cattle and buffaloes are kept, their shelter requirements should be good. They should be airy. The floor should be slightly sloping so that all various when we are cleaning them, the water easily drains away. They should be sheltered in well ventilated sheds and protect them from rain, heat, and cold. The floor of the cattle shed needs to be sloping so as to dry and to facilitate cleaning. Okay. Now, the food requirement of dairy animals is of two types. One is a maintenance requirement, and one is when they are suppose nursing a young one. So if they are nursing a young one, then they need to give milk to the young one also. So due to which we have to provide them with more food. The food requirement of dairy animals are of two types: maintenance requirement, which is the food required to support the animal to live a healthy life, and the milk producing requirement, which is a type of food required during lactation period. Animal feed includes roughage, which is largely fiber, concentrates, which are low in fiber and contain relatively high levels of proteins and nutrients. Now, cattle also suffer from a large variety of diseases. In fact, there are various veterinaries always there, especially in villages. There are lots of vets are always there for taking care of various types of diseases. And of course, there is a danger also that sometimes the disease of cattle they transfer to humans also. So we have to be very careful about that. Cattle suffer from a number of diseases. The diseases, besides causing death, reduce milk production. A healthy animal feeds regularly and has a normal posture. Vaccinations are given to farm animals against major viral and bacterial diseases. Apart from this, of course, all of you, if you are eating eggs, then and eggs, as you know, we get from hens, and that is related to poultry farming. Now, poultry farming is basically done for two purposes. One is, of course, for eggs, and if some of you eat meat, for eating for meat also, poultry farming is done. In fact, the hens which are laying for the hens which are we are using for eggs, we desire that their size is small so that they eat less, and but they will give the egg, so they will give of normal size. Similarly, if we want the ones from which we want meat, okay, or we want them to have a slightly larger size so that we get large quantity of meat. Egg and broiler production. Broiler chickens are fed with vitamin-rich supplementary feed for good growth rate and better feed efficiency. Care is taken to avoid mortality and to maintain feathering and carcass quality. They are produced as broilers and sent to market for meat purposes. Poultry breeds also suffer from a large number of diseases caused by various bacteria, fungi, and parasites, and again we have to take proper care of them. These necessitate proper cleaning, sanitation, and spraying or disinfectant at regular intervals. Appropriate vaccination can prevent the occurrence of infectious diseases and reduce loss of poultry during an outbreak of disease. Uh, so far, I have not discussed the in-text question of from today what we started. There is a reason. The questions which I have sent you, almost all of them will cover the questions which are there in text, except for one question which is there on page 208. Page 208 question is, which of the following conditions will give the most benefits and why? Farmers use high quality of seed and do not adopt irrigation or use fertilizers. Farmers use ordinary seeds and adopt irrigation and use fertilizers. Farmers use quality seeds, adopt irrigation, use fertilizer and use crop protection measures. Which of the following conditions will give the most benefits and why? It is pretty obvious the answer, so I want you to write it on your own, of course. Out of A, B and C, which one would you choose? On page 209, the two questions will be covered in your questions. Similarly, on page 210, that question will also be covered. On page 211, there is this question, discuss the implications of the following. It is interesting to note that poultry is India's most efficient converter of low fiber foodstuff, which is unfit for human consumption, into highly nutritious animal protein food. Now, what does this statement mean basically? Basically, what it means is the food which we give to hens, okay, humans can't eat it, but once the hens eat it, they either convert it into eggs or we use them for their meat. So in both ways, a thing which was not suitable for our consumption of humans, was used by hens, and then we can of course use hens for our purposes. So that's what he's saying, that the food which was not fit for human consumption, now it is converted into highly nutritious and animal protein food. On page 211, one question is there, what management practices are common in dairy and poultry farming, and what are the differences between broilers and layers in their management? These two questions I want you to search for it, and then we will see what you are sending me, and then depending on that, if all of you are able to answer these two questions, then I will not discuss, or if you are not, then I will discuss, of course. Apart from these, I will just mark the questions till what we have done till today, and then you can right now you just have to search for the answers. Okay, you just have to search for the answers, not write them. Once I discuss them in the next class, then you need to write them. Okay, cheers.